All right, imbeciles, everyone quiet down. Dave and Ryan's movie review, segment 3, and action.
Oh, we've done this before, but not in this setting. It's the ultimate 16 movie bracket to determine Dave and Ryan's scariest movie. I'll give our favorite duo 3 minutes to decide their winner, eliminating one movie at a time out of a tournament-style debate. The only catch? These two hard-headed jerks have to agree on which one comes out on top. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
All right, so we started this last week, and we decided we were going to call it October Madness.
October Madness!
Because it is like a March Madness-style tournament bracket. So last week we started with 16 movies that are scary movies this week, and we whittled them down to 8. Now we're going to take these 8, and we're going to whittle them down to 4. So here's the movies we're going to be talking about. Child's Play is going up against Halloween. Strangers is going up against Hellraiser. The movie It, not the TV miniseries It, is going up against Poltergeist. And Scream is going up against Nightmare on Elm Street.
There's going to be some difficult discussions there.
Somebody's going to be crying. Maybe.
It's going to be me.
All right, are we ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Released in 1978, Halloween. 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to a small town. And its opponent, we go back to 1988. It's Child's Play. A struggling single mother unknowingly gifts her son a doll, which has been possessed by a serial killer known as Chucky.
And action.
Okay, so the movie Halloween is the one of the first movies that I can remember seeing. That yes, it's a scary movie, and it came out during that time where you had all of these other movies that were like in the same vein or the same genre come out at the same time as well. So you have Michael Myers, which of course is dubbed the Boogeyman in the movie. That's how they refer to him, is the Boogeyman. Maybe that's where the being scared of it comes from. Is it comes from this movie. Michael Myers in this movie created unbelievable terror in a small town, and it made a lot of people.
So are you going with Halloween?
Similarly, very famous, okay? So what did you think about Halloween, really quick?
I liked Halloween. Honestly, when I saw it as a kid, it's scary. That's my pick. I don't think Chucky holds up. Child's Play is a little tiny. Are we stopping?
No, keep going.
Oh. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to have to go with Halloween. Scary. It's the serial killer coming from inside the house. The slow walking, the stab you. And, Child's Play, it's a good movie, but it's a little doll. You kick it across the room.
And they do that, but he still keeps coming back.
Yeah, well, you take him and throw him in the wood chipper.
That's one way to get rid of him, I would guess. But yeah, I think you're right on this one. Halloween is just that. I mean, and it's named Halloween.
Yeah, I think we're going with Halloween on this one.
Halloween wins. First round moves on.
Up next, we have The Strangers. Released in 2008, a young couple staying in an isolated vacation home are terrorized by 3 unknown assailants. And its opponent, released in 1987, Hellraiser follows a woman who discovers the newly resurrected, partially formed body of her brother-in-law. She starts killing for him to revitalize his body so he can escape the demonic beings.
And action.
So after our discussion about The Strangers last week, I'm going to let you start this one.
I'm going to have to go with Hellraiser. It's not just Hellraiser. There's multiple beings, like I said last week, that, they're just there to torture you. And, basically kind of, it's like a, I don't want to say bondage type of torture, but, they're there to either help you or to not help you, or to basically they help themselves help you.
It is.
And,
it's about bondage.
And Strangers is just, hey, they happen to be home. Let's go kill these people.
There's a line in the movie that said, that talks about showing them pleasures that they've never seen before. It's about bondage.
Yeah, I understand that, The Strangers is kind of like more realistic, but as long, nowadays you got the home security system and all that. And, most people here in America have a gun. I know Jordan, there's one actor that Jordan loves that has a gun.
And it happens. Hellraiser to me, and I'll stand by this, Hellraiser to me was just about being bloody and gory. It truly was.
It was, but there was also a story, unlike Saw that we talked about last week. This actually has a story in it.
And I will go on, and I will say that between these two movies, I'm not gonna put up a fight. Hellraiser is the more iconic horror movie in this out of this batch. So,
but is it the one you like?
It doesn't matter.
You're supposed to argue against me, Dave.
I told you how I felt about The Strangers.
Apparently,
but when you pair it up against this movie,
okay,
Hellraiser is just one of those movies that everybody, when you talk about scary movies, Hellraiser comes to mind.
Yep.
So we're gonna go with Hellraiser out of that round.
That's 2 for Ryan.
Up next, It. Released in 2017, it's about the summer of 1989 and a group of bullied kids band together to destroy a shape-shifting monster known as Pennywise. And its opponent, the Poltergeist. Released in 1982, a family's home is haunted by a host of demonic ghosts.
And action.
So here's the thing. I find it very funny that these are two in the same round together because they are both based around clowns.
Yeah, this was the one where I was like, it's going to be a hard decision here because, they're both scary. You got Pennywise, killer clown, Poltergeist. It has clowns, but not only just clowns. There's like the phantoms that pull you into the TV, and at the end of the movie, they were on the Indian burial ground or the cemetery, and all the dead bodies started rising up. So both movies are very scary. So this is the one I'm kind of on the fence with. But which one are you going with?
They didn't move the bodies; they only moved the headstones.
Yeah.
Poltergeist to this day still frightens me. It really does. I remember seeing that movie back when it first came out, so I was probably 10, 11 years old. I remember watching that movie, and it still freaks me out. As I brought up last week, the scene with the chicken in the bathroom where the guy rips his face off, the clown scenes, all the weird things that go on in it. For me, yes, it is a great movie. It really is, but Poltergeist, for me, has to win this round.
So you're going with Poltergeist?
I'm going with Poltergeist.
It is very good. It has scary killer clown, and the way he hides in like paintings and like shadows on the wall and stuff like that it's just horrifying. But I honestly have to agree with you about Poltergeist. It's not just about one thing; it's multiple things, and I think we're gonna have to go with Poltergeist.
So we're gonna call that a win for me or a win for you?
I'm gonna call that a draw.
Okay. So Poltergeist moves on.
Next, we start with the 1984 hit, A Nightmare on Elm Street. A girl and a group of her friends are being tormented by a clawed killer in their dreams named Freddy Krueger. The kids must think fast as Freddy tries to pick them off one by one. And its opponent, Scream. Released in 1996, a year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a masked killer who targets her and her friends by using scary movies as part of the deadly game.
And action.
I honestly, this for me isn't even a battle. It's not even a fair battle.
You're right, it's Scream, right?
No, it's not.
How could it not be Scream?
It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Why?
Because Nightmare on Elm Street was that movie. If you didn't have, we talked about Halloween in the first round and before. If you don't have Halloween or Michael Myers, you don't have Freddy Krueger. And Freddy Krueger is one of those things and one of those beings.
So you're saying Freddy Krueger's an afterthought, which is correct because Scream should win.
Freddy Krueger is one of those entities that you cannot get away from. You have to sleep. And that's what this movie preys upon, is the fact that he only goes after people when they sleep in the movie.
If that's the only way you can kill someone, you're not a very effective bad guy.
Got a pretty high body count,
Scream,
though.
It was the very first type of movie where like the call is coming from inside the house.
You just said that about Halloween.
No. I didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Jordan is jumping up and down excited.
You just said that about Halloween.
But
So that doesn't wash here.
It perfected that it's coming from inside the house.
If it perfected it.
It perfected it. The caller ID, the whole calling.
All they did in the movie Scream was grab elements from other movies and other scary movies and put it in the same movie.
Yes.
That's all they did.
Like America. America took things from everywhere and made it better.
That's all they did, was they took elements from other horror movies. In fact, they even talk about it in the movie.
I guarantee you will see more Ghostface Halloween costumes than you will Freddy Krueger.
That's because there are too many young kids that's all they know.
Because it's scary.
Their parents aren't raising them right.
Their parents are raising them just fine.
No,
Dave.
they are not, because Freddy Krueger is scarier to me than Ghostface.
Yeah, to you,
especially at the end of the movie.
Not to me.
But at the end
I'm
of the
burned.
movie,
I have claws in my head. Check out my fedora.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the movie, you know who Ghostface Killer is in Scream.
Yeah, you know who Freddy Krueger is right off the bat.
But how do you stop him?
Obviously, you have a can of Red Bull.
No, you don't. It didn't work. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street to me is a classic horror movie. And when I look at this, it's like, if I'm going to call this October Madness, I'm putting it out like I would make a bracket in March. And I think that Nightmare on Elm Street has a better shot against Poltergeist.
The whole bracket thing you're talking about. Everyone loves an underdog story. That's what Scream is right now. It's an underdog.
Scream is not an underdog. It's not. Scream.
Well,
is
you
not.
said Freddy Krueger was an afterthought.
No, I said Freddy Krueger. You don't really have him. If you
unless
don't
you have
other
the
things.
other one, so he is an afterthought.
But
you
then
could say
Scream
that.
Could be
You could
considered
say
the
that
same
about
thing.
almost every horror movie.
Right, Scream could be considered the same thing. All I'm saying is, when you talk about people in movies that are frightening and scary that people remember, they talk about Michael Myers. They talk about Jason.
It depends on who you're talking about.
Pinhead.
An older person, yes. A younger person,
They talk about
no.
Freddy Krueger. They do not talk about Ghostface.
Freddy is iconic. I will give you that.
They don't talk about Ghostface because Ghostface has been around forever, because that's what people wore for Halloween. It's a Halloween mask.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. I will give this one to you.
All right. See, I knew you'd see it my way. It took me an hour to get you there, but I knew you'd see it my way. All right. So that puts us at next week. Halloween's going to go up against Hellraiser.
Ooh.
And Poltergeist gets to go up against Nightmare on Elm Street. Start your arguments. Get them ready now.
Oh, I'm already starting.
All right.
Jotting some notes down.
Get them ready, because you're going to need them. Okay, so that's going to do it. We're out of here for this week. We'll talk to you again next week. Be good.